theme of today's discussions revolves around innovation, inclusivity, and integration. Through thoughtfully curated panels and breakout sessions, we aim to address the most pressing challenges of our times. We plan to envision sustainable solutions for the future through these discussions. From exploring smart city governance and redefining success for women to leveraging technology for community outreach and business growth, today's agenda covers a diverse spectrum of critical topics. We are confident that these conversations will inspire actionable insights. To begin, we present our first panel discussion of the day, Smart City Governance, Collaboration Across Sectors for Integrated Urban Solutions. As urbanization accelerates globally, cities face mounting pressures to provide efficient, sustainable, and equitable services. This panel will discuss how technology and cross-sector collaboration can address modern urban challenges and social integrated solutions. We are delighted to have an exceptional lineup for this session. The session will be moderated by Mr. Shekhar Badve, founder director of Lokusdesign and a Cannes Design License Junior. Joining him as panelists are Dr. Hemant Samtani, Director at Cisco, Dr. Sampatkumar, Head, Group Center of Excellence at Biocon, Mr. Vinit Majgaonkar, Chairman of Armstrong Dematic, and Ms. Reshma Chainani, CEO of Vansum Group of Companies.
So I just wanted to reiterate that the detailed profiles are with you in the PDFs. We realize that they're so distinguished that even if we had to describe each one's achievements in under 2 minutes, and we have 20 panelists, it's 40 minutes worth of achievements. So anyway, we'll be sharing the PDFs, etc. Do read through, and over to you.
All right, good morning, everyone. And what we've promised each other is that we're not going to ask difficult questions and stick to the syllabus. Being alumni of MIT, all of us are aware of the preparatory leaves that we used to get for a month and a half, and we've done that. I'm very glad to be here. Thank you so much. Thank you, Dr. Vishwanath Karad, sir, and Dr. Rahul Karad, and the alumni committee, which has been exceptional in terms of getting us together, following up, ensuring that our enthusiasm remains. And welcome to all of you alumni here. I have an amazing star-studded panel here, and it's going to be fun. I'll keep it very simple, crisp, so that we might have some chance for question answers, but it's a difficult topic. And I would not go into detailed introductions. I would encourage that if you could speak about yourselves for a minute. So I'll start with Hemant Samtani. He is the Director, Global Delivery, Service Provider and Data Center Technology, Professional Services for Cisco. We have Dr. Sampatkumar, who is the Head of Group Center of Excellence at Biocon. We have Vinit Majgaonkar, Chairman, Armstrong Dematic. And we have the beautiful Reshma Chainani balancing the equation here. So she's the Chief Executive Officer of Vansum Group of Companies. And I'm Shekhar Badve. I co-founded Lokusdesign. I'll ask Hemant to give a very brief, quick introduction, and then we'll jump into it.
All right. Thanks, Shekhar, and good morning. Great to be here. I'm Hemant from the 2001 ENTC batch, and I am not a doctor, so that was a typo. So 2001 I passed out, did my master's at USC, and then I joined a startup called Starent Networks. So primarily I worked in service provider space, building backhaul access networks, the services that you folks use, broadband, 4G, 5G. A lot of those networks at the back end are done by Cisco. And I have had an opportunity to work with SPs globally. Smart cities as a topic is extremely important for Cisco as an organization. We've put in a lot of investment and focus on it. Although I've not directly worked on it, but been on the fence and seen that. So very looking forward to this. And on the personal front, Pune based, I live here with my family, born and brought up here. So really happy to be there. Thank you.
Yeah, Vinit.
Good morning. I'm Vinit Majgaonkar. I'm the co-founder of Armstrong Dematic. My co-founder is also sitting here, Pranav. We founded this company 25 years ago. We are into the intralogistics, robotics, and automation sector. Basically, all that you normally order online has a journey, and by the time it reaches your doorstep, there's hardly any goods that wouldn't have touched our machines and our systems. So that's a brief intro of ours.
Good morning, everyone, and it feels very, very nostalgic to be back here. And for a moment, looking at the stage, it took me days when we would participate on the shows, some fashion shows, some act outs. So it's really a beautiful feeling. I'm from the 96B polymer batch pass out, second university rank topper. After that, I sort of digressed in my journey slightly away from engineering and did a diploma in business finance, then got into banking, worked in a couple of MNC banks, worked in Citibank Singapore, BNP Paribas, ICICI Private Banking, etc. And then the calling was, of course, to join our family business, which my dad has started about 55 years back in the agrochemical space. And thereafter, in the year 2000, he set up an IT park, which is the first private sector IT park in the country. So we were in the real estate space, providing office space to now we talk about unicorns, etc., but the startup industry was very nascent at that point of time, and the whole one-stop shop solution was provided. So I'm based out of Bombay, but I'm the group CEO for the Vansum Group and second generation entrepreneur, and I'm very blessed and privileged to have this platform, and very, very honored to come back here and looking forward to this session. Thank you.
Thank you.
Now that she told me she's 96 batch, right?
Yes.
So now I remember that I have seen her, right here outside in petrochemical. So it's a 97 batch, gold medalist, and that is something that I was very reminded by all my batchmates from petrochemical engineering, because when I brought my family here a few years back, it was good to see my name there listed. So it was very, very. I wanted to thank Professor Dange and all other professors in petrochemical. I'm just not haunting about the gold medalists, but it's about the connection with the college, right? It's about having that alma mater that you really proud of. It's about that. So originally I wanted to do a biotech. I didn't know that actually in one of my high school alma mater, reunions, they told me that I had an admission at Anna University Biotech, but I never took that. I wanted to become a medical doctor. And, but I applied for all the medical schools at that time in 93, but I couldn't get anywhere. Then Professor Vijay S. Rao was here at that time. He passed away recently. Through him is what I got a, opportunity to, study here. And his first condition is you have to, pass out with the gold medal at 93 itself. I have no clue 4 years later. But then I wanted to become a doctor, so I went to the US, did my MPhil and PhD in chemical engineering. And now I'm back into biotech. I'm in Biocon. So somewhere I did not take it up. It's just life is a full circle. And I'm so excited to talk about the healthcare sector here when it comes to the smart city governance.
Absolutely.
So,
Fantastic. So thank you so much. Amazing panel here. I'm Shekhar. I'm from the 95 batch. I did specialization in tool design, went on to do my master's in product design from National Institute of Design, Ahmedabad, and successfully dropped out of IIT PhD Mumbai, saying that I can't come and stay there because I have a business to look after. So that's the only connection with PhD that I had for a couple of weeks. I am also part of the Cannes design jury, which is a worldwide jury, and proud to be representing India and Asia there. I'm also part of the CII's National Committee on Smart Cities and Design, also part of the India Design Mark, which is a award given for best design or products in India, which is part of Government of India. So that's a quick introduction, and now we will move on. I will quickly put a uh, simple understanding of what smart cities are and what does it mean to us and why is it important and why is this topic getting discussed here. And I believe it's very critical to understand this. So some starters here, quick ones, which will probably set the ball rolling. So nearly 31% of India's population, current population, which is 2011 census, resides in cities. So which is 31% and contributes around 63% to the GDP, which is phenomenal number. This is growing dramatically. And it is going to be from 31% to 40% next year, which is a remarkable jump, and going to contribute 75% to the GDP, which is again phenomenal. So this is what the importance of cities or urban uh, infrastructure would mean to the growth of India. Uh, what it requires, and this is also being very uh, critically mentioned on the Ministry of Home and Urban Development websites, if you go on, which is where Smart Cities mission is part of. It says that it requires comprehensive development of physical, institutional, social, and economic infrastructure. And this is extremely critical. And these are the 4 pillars that they talk about in terms of what is a smart city about. So a smart city should build on these 4 pillars. And of course, there are 6 principles. I'll not go into those details. So Smart Cities mission was launched in 2015 by the Honorable Prime Minister Narendra Modi. And this is under Housing and Urban Affairs, Government of India. This is the mission's main objective is to promote cities because the population is moving towards cities and it is contributing to the GDP well beyond 3/4 or 75% of the total GDP. And what the mission also talks about is that they have a very strong mission of offering smart solutions. Now, smart solutions are e-governance to waste management to water management to energy, and they also talk about development of human beings, which is very surprising to see on a government website, but very happy to see that there. So the central government has already spent 48,000 crores. The total outlay is 1,60,000 crores. 90% of it is already been utilized. I don't know where it is. Pune is a smart city. Pune, we get to see certain centers where we see these spots. And that brings us back to the debate or the discussion that we will have, saying that if 1,60,000 crores has been spent in India on 100 cities, where is it? And why is it that I am not feeling being part of Pune, that we are smart or smart enough now? Of course, there are bad jokes in Pune that we don't need a smart city. We are already very smart. That was a joke when they had announced Pune as a smart city. Coming back, unfortunately, there is no standard definition for what a smart city is. What do you call a smart city? There's nothing globally, though Barcelona was the smartest city, the best city, which was developed under Smart Cities mission, which was looked as a benchmark by global standards, but there is no definition of a smart city. So I would like to start with a very simple question, and we have only 4 questions, don't worry, and we're going to be very, very crisp as far as possible, but I would encourage if you have a long enough answer, don't shy away, go ahead. We have enough time to deliberate on this, and it's extremely critical for us. Thankfully, we are a panel from diverse domains, and I would like to really bring out aspects that somebody can take away, somebody can build, somebody can refer back into certain advisory boards. So I'll start with Dr. Sampath here. What is your definition of a smart city? It doesn't matter because nobody has defined it. So we can take this opportunity to say that this is my smart city. Please.
So from the healthcare, perspective, because I'm working in biotech, and from that perspective, wherever we go for healthcare, whether it's a hospital Or sometimes if you see the local people, they just go to the pharmacy, I have cold, what should I take? So all the healthcare providers, physicians, and including the citizens need to become smart first. So sometimes you say my stomach is hurting, but it's actually the liver. So people are not even able to discern, where the pain is to tell the doctor. So obviously the doctors will have to diagnose properly and then give you a medicine and then give you a medicine, etc. So that awareness, first of all, when I say the hospital and pharmacies need to be smart, it can also be from the angle of understanding the patient. Because again, like what for the PNG jewelers, they talked about customer centricity. People also go to a hospital or a healthcare provider with that aspect of customer service and curation, curing the disease, and also word of mouth. Say, oh, Apollo is good or Apollo is not good, something like that, right? So that information, that again comes back to the IT team, working with sharing of information between the hospitals is possible. Again, there is data privacy, cybersecurity, all of that has to be thought through. I was also thinking of maybe we can have a QR code for each individual personal health data, like how you have, again, outlandish whatever thought process, but like you have a PAN card and an Aadhaar card. Can we have a health card that talks about, and it's all personal, because I was in the US for 20 years. I never want my employer to know whether I had diabetes or I had health problem, anything, right? So, but I'm in perfect health, but I want my employer to not know anything about my health, in fact. That's privacy. So again, giving data to the hospitals comes with the layer of data privacy, all those laws. And maybe a person, and also I see the need for smartness is also required when we talk about treating the elderly. The senior citizens, nowadays senior citizens, more than healthcare, they need somebody to talk to, because everybody gets into this mode. And the kids as well, even though they want to do good, but they're not able to with the busy lives, the elderly. So can we come up with a lot of ideas? I will leave now at this, and then I'll pass it on. And then I can elaborate in the next question.
Yep. Thanks. Yeah, Reshma.
Yeah, hi. I'll probably talk in respect to the real estate sector. So, development of urban areas with the help of the IoT, technology, government, collaborations to make the city not only smart but also sustainable is probably kind of the definition I would look at. In this, there are many ideas which, while we are at the IT park, and we are implementing some of it, and which we would like also to, for the government to help us build on. Basic metrics of measuring, saving on electricity. So we have solar power, solar panels across all our buildings to have green energy or renewable source of energy. We have collaboration. We work on waste segregation because a lot of e-waste is generated, and we want the right way to dispose it. So we tie up with NGOs to collect it. There is also the traffic congestion part of it in a city like Pune, where the traffic is just burgeoning, and we really need the public infrastructure to be in place for transportation.
Right.
And with the new Maha Metro coming in, and we did a small tie-up with them, so it has been fantastic. I mean, I think the ridership has gone up to, I think, 4 or 5 lakhs per day in a city like Pune, where everybody owns a two-wheeler or a four-wheeler, and they want to get their own. So there are many ideas like innovative, parking spaces, and more to discuss later. But if to describe in the real estate space, we have this smart solutions, and at the same time looking at sustainability to take this forward. So, that will integrate and make our Pune city, or for that matter, other cities in India very thriving. And we would one day like to make it a city like Singapore. I've lived in Singapore, so it's very close to my heart, and hopefully it's a dream which we can look at probably to achieve.
Fantastic.
Thank you.
So we have smart health, smart infrastructure. Over to you.
Okay, so the irony of this session is that the guy who designs the smart cities gets to ask the questions. And we are left at his mercy. But the good part is he first asked the question to the gold medalist. So you have the best answer already. Then the silver medalist. And then comes the common man.
But the funny man.
So I come from the logistics sector. And as long as humans will still have to move from one place to other physically, unlike the Star Trek, where you can just transpond from one place to the other, we will need logistics. And I think that smart cities have got to do a lot to work on logistics. As we all know that 14% of India's GDP spend is on logistics sector, which is one of the highest in the world. And for me, in a sense, logistics is otherwise a non-value add kind of an activity. It is an essential or a necessary evil. I mean, I'm in the business of logistics automation and I'm calling it an evil. So the target of the National Logistics Policy, which has been formulated, I think, a couple of years ago, it targets to bring down this cost from 14% to 8% to single digit level, which you will typically see in either Germany or US or in the developed world. So my definition of a smart city is AI driven and data centric backbone of a city that can deliver an omni-channel experience to any consumer. And when I say omni-channel, I do not want to mistake it to multi-channel, because we are barely scraping the tip of being multi-channel yet. In omni-channel world, this is not something that you do to your consumers, but this is a state of mind of a consumer, where a consumer becomes oblivious to the line of differentiation between the virtual and the physical world. Often it is these days called as the phygital world. So when consumers interact with the systems in an omni-channel way, you ought to have a complete logistics that can respond to this omni-channel customer experience. I'll leave it at that here, and we can expand on it further later. Over to Hemant.
Thanks.
Thank you. So all that they said, technology ties it all together, right? So technology is very, can you folks hear me? Yeah. So technology is very, very fundamental, right, in towards smart cities. So for me,
Not able to.
yeah, so technology ties, everything they said together. It's the means with which we can really achieve that mission. So to me, a smart city is, through your mobile, you can access everything, every possible service, get around anywhere. Right? It's entirely digital, right? And I think Vinit said the omni-channel, and technology is the enabler for that. And I'd just like to call out, the focus that we as Cisco have put on the smart cities. Right, in 2015, when the mission was launched, we used our country digital acceleration program, and we invested early. Right, so out of the 100 smart cities that we have, Cisco is a player across 60 of them. We created a lot of partners, co-innovation. So it's, for me, like, technology is the backbone, and so connected, a city that's connected, protected, security is very and continues to enhance life of its residents, right? For me, that's a smart city.
Oh, fantastic. So I think we've covered the backbone, the scene that is behind, and of course something that is on the forefront. For me, a quick answer would be a smart city which is resilient. We've seen cities collapse, humanity collapse a couple of years back, and thankfully we are out of it very strong and very smart now. And we have possibilities where we could connect the technology or the AI world to something that is very tangible to people, delivered on the street at their homes, whether it is healthcare. So telemedicine is one big chapter within the smart cities mission. My final year project was on telemedicine. This was in '93, and I was wondering whether this is going to be reality any point in time, and that is becoming reality with the 5G and the 4G networks. Uh, Governance remains one big question in terms of the technology and the city infrastructure coming together to offer solutions or offer things that the citizens would need, or the government or the participatory bodies would need to govern these systems. Uh, what remains is that all this is happening devoid of people. And the next question to all of you is going to be, how do we bring citizens' voice, citizens' needs? You are a citizen of a city. How would you bring your voice back into the game? And what could be the channels that we could propose here that we could bring? And it could be from your own domain if you want to answer it that way. But your voice as a citizen saying that, "Oh, I need this and this is how I can voice out." I remember in Singapore, they have a common grievances website, if I'm not mistaken, where you could log on your wishes, needs, demands, desires, and the government votes. The local government will vote on to topics, and that particular topic is then taken up for development. That's one way to look at it. That could be a model that one could learn from, which is again a very technology based, very simple, effective way of doing things. Otherwise, we get to see projects which have no meaning, no concern whatsoever, apparently, for the citizens. We've seen a lot of projects in Pune where a lot of money has been spent, but we don't see the result or we don't feel it. I had the channel or the opportunity, I would voice it. So, what could be this channel? How do we bring the citizens back into the game?
So there is the connection I feel the citizens must have to a smart city project is little bit of element of patriotism. If there is no patriotism, nobody would do anything. Because if it's in a company, like of say 1,000 or 10,000 or 100,000 people, you can incentivize it for people to act in a particular way. But general public, how will you do it, right? So there has to be, we talk, it's a very nice goal of 2047 Viksit Bharat. So as part of that, I actually learned about it only like, a few months back about Viksit Bharat, and I was listening to a couple of, Ashwini and Piyush, all of them, talking about it in one of the symposiums. But it didn't reach, is it reached to the public? Probably not, right? Everybody doesn't know about that grand plan of Viksit Bharat and how the vision mission is tied to the goal at the flow. That connection has to happen. Only then we will get people's support from the ground. Okay, we will adopt telemedicine. Because there is a lot of, telemedicine is something that it comes with, again, a fear of unknown.
Yeah.
So we don't know how a doctor, it's always, I need the doctor to touch my hand and see, Telemedicine, nobody's going to touch you, right? So how will you, then you need to have that right, connected devices to measure, your pressure, whatever, and give the data. Only then telemedicine will be very, powerful. So that belief system, okay, we are growing. And how to incentivize it from a policy angle or a government angle. For example, I think the government incentivizes electrical vehicles. Government in the US, I remember they incentivize solar panels. We used to have, panel in our house, solar panels. Similarly, for healthcare systems, use of telemedicine, can it be incentivized? I don't know. Use of, sharing data, because again, data privacy comes. If you go to any hospital, wherever you're traveling, for example, can that person need not go back, get access to your medical history easily, with your permission, of course, like a QR code and a password with you. And then that doctor can help you. So, and then we are not talking about just smart city means one smart city, right? A cities, smart cities. So then the connection, it is like, for example, I can drive my KA car registration to anywhere in India. So similarly, can I go, with my same health history, go to any doctor, trusted doctor within the same network or within the network? So it is more towards that, and that benefit has to also be, felt by the citizens. Then you will get the adoption more. It is like technology introducing a digital solution. The adoption is the most difficult thing.
Yeah.
So the adoption comes with learning the benefit as well as a little bit element of patriotism, when I'm talking about government related and people related.
Absolutely.
That is the thought.
Yeah, so national pride and pride in what we're doing is extremely critical, and we'll come back to this important topic. Yeah.
Hi. Just taking a cue from there, and I probably had this idea of how our Prime Minister had the Atmanirbhar Bharat kind of a feeling or patriotism, as you may call it, and every Indian knows that word. And somewhere down the line, it probably grows on you, and you want to do something for your country, and it grows. So when citizens are made aware that they are equally responsible, it's not just the agenda of the governing bodies or the private sector or the others. They themselves need to come up with ideas, and it's probably a two-way portal where they're allowed to express their thoughts, and similar to the Singapore model, there's a two-way communication. Also probably have some town halls where you have discussions, have local area meetings where you probably do something for your own community, wherein the citizen participation is there, and they feel as much a part of the development and it is going to benefit them. Even small things like road development. For example, just going back to our own example, the road in front of our Pune IT Park, it came for a development project under the Smart City, and we were in touch with the PMC for that, and we contributed in terms of beautifying the area outside with murals of Saraswati and technology, because
Lovely.
a blend of, and made a green patch for, the citizens to sit out. So whoever, like area-wise also, even if it is a small contribution outside your area, or you, kind of get feedback from the customers, and what maybe there are ideas, like you said, that might be implemented, may not even take off. But if you go small, take baby steps, and probably start implementing in small areas and then expand to bigger regions, it could probably work. I mean, we've seen it happening in our own area, and we've really got appreciation for, it beautifies the whole thing. The area gets cleaned up, and who would not want to have an office space, or for that matter a residential space, in a neat and clean, hygienic environment. So yeah, I think two-way communication is important, and whatever the private sector players can contribute from their side, along with collaboration with the government, will be beneficial in the long run.
Fantastic.
Thank you.
So yeah.
Right. So now, Shekhar, you have started this game of the elephant and the blind man. Right. And so whatever comes in my hand now, I'm going to talk about it. So how do we hear the people's voice in the smart cities? I think that there is a somewhat grown ecosystem of some platforms which are already working in the consumer sector, and some infrastructure which are pretending to be platforms. So, for example, there is a platform called ULIP, and this is not an insurance, right? ULIP is Unified Logistics Interface Platform.
Yeah.
And this is actually potentially the next biggest powerful thing after UPI, perhaps. We all know that hardly 9 or 10 years ago, one of our ex-finance minister was mocking at UPI, and today we see the power of UPI. So point number one is that to get the people to speak into the system, we must evolve platforms which are highly simple, where people can either express their opinions or inadvertently or indirectly also register their views. So there are private platforms like Goa Miles, which are aggregators. You're doing a great job, by the way. I use your cabs in Goa whenever I'm there. And so there are many of these aggregators who are constantly collecting the ratings and rankings of services that are being provided. And then there are those Swiggies and the Zomatos and so on and so forth. And then there is a ULIP, which is by its definition called as a platform, but in reality it deserves to be called an infrastructure. Now, if these platforms and the infrastructure, and incidentally, ULIP has a capacity to plug in all the platforms as well. It's the mother of all the platforms. Hence, it should be ideally called as an infrastructure. So if we can plug in all these aggregation platforms and the ideas that keep coming on these platforms and these ratings, and eventually we can funnel it down via the system of a large infrastructure platform into the system, then I think that, that's the best way to hear the common person's voice. I doubt if we leave it to people to write emails to some municipal body and is anybody going to pay heed to it. There are a lot of people who write mails to the PMO. These days I hear that those mails are heard, but it's just humanly not possible to reach out to every single email and reply to every single voice. So maybe this combination of private platforms and infrastructures, they can help us pull all this information from the crowd.
Fantastic.
Thank you. I'll keep it short. You folks covered a lot of the points. For me, I think social media that has a maximum outreach, and a lot of cities are adopting social media very effectively. You can express your views, you can share what you expect from the city. But somebody said, right, technology, rolling out technology is easy, but adoption is so I would say a hybrid approach of social media with the local bodies, right? Local town hall meetings, corporators, MLAs, not only coming for a picture, right? Just for a picture to, oh, I've done this, but presenting what's going to be proposed for development, right? Get citizen input, get that pride for city. I mean, we've seen all around Pune now, right? Every area. I love Koregaon Park. I love Kalyani Nagar, right? I think it's done to instill some of that pride, right? So you keep your area, your neighborhood clean, your city clean. So that instills that sense of pride. So a hybrid approach of social media, because India has the maximum outreach, right? And I think the third point I would say is, talking to local bodies, it's like a black box, right? You request something and nothing comes out. So I think somehow that perception needs to be changed. It's not humanly possible to respond, but if you're taking citizen input, you respond back, right? And so that's how I would approach it.
So I think what both of you have covered is fantastic. The infrastructure and the technology side, and what they're talking about, both of these are talking about people's roles, people's initiative, and taking pride in my locality, my city is extremely crucial, because you could create infrastructure, but people are not ready. In India and in Pune especially, we believe that I want to remain anonymous to the system. I don't want to be spotted. That's a big fear that all of us have in India and in certain parts of the country. So all the infrastructure which Vinit was talking about, if it could remain anonymous and still can be logged in, saying that these are the complaints that have been rising from a certain pocket. And those numbers are staggering in India, thankfully, and it creates havoc, saying that 1 lakh people have reported from Kothurud as to such and such problem occurs. So we have the power of numbers. We need certain infrastructure which is digital, anonymous to start with, that because I don't want to stand out, I don't want to put my neck out to the system. So these kinds, social media of course, but social media unfortunately is also seen as a mockery to the whole system, and it goes absolutely bizarre and berserk at times. On the pride side, one project that we're doing for smart cities is a museum on Pune. I'm in the business of design, so we're designing a museum on Pune which talks about history of Pune, It talks about why do we love this city? Why do we take pride? आम्ही पुण्याचे आहोत आणि आम्ही पुणेकर आणि पुणे तिथे काही उणे नाही वगैरे वगैरे. All this is what we're trying to bring in this small little center in Baner. The building is ready. Hopefully, we will get to move in and do our magic. So this is one initiative by the Smart Cities Commission for all the new people who've come to Pune. So there's a large migration, large number of people who have come to Pune, and the Punekars are being sidelined now, saying that we are the new Pune, which is Wakad, Baner, Aund, etc., and that side of the world, or Kharadi. And so these are the people, they're also wanting to have a dialogue. So this is a dialogue center that has been proposed, and hopefully it will be done soon, to tell people who do not know about Pune, also to tell people who are from Pune but they have forgotten that we are a great city and we used to be a great city and we would want to bring that greatness back. So I remember whoever Donald Trump said that make America great again. I think that's a great tag line that we could use for Pune. So the next one, to build on, so I'll keep this people centric and technology centric if that's okay, because then we will have something to build on. Of course, you could differ on this. But what are the few technologies, and I'll start that side now. What are the few technologies from your own domain which you think, like what Vinit said in terms of the infrastructure and the platforms, what is it that you would want to say that, oh, why aren't you looking at these two? Just plug them in and you'll do a fantastic smart city. A quick answer.
A quick answer. So the world is talking AI, artificial intelligence, and at Cisco we are big on it. Over the last few years, there's a ton of data, and there's a lot of data available on the smart cities page also, right? So I also encourage students to look at that, create patterns. So AI is very, very crucial, right, in decision making and drawing patterns, and then in factoring into the development works. Right? The other aspects which we really work very closely are 5G connectivity, a unified infrastructure. You create a unified infrastructure, but services would require different, every service would need a different experience, right? So you do on-prem, you do cloud, all those aspects. It cannot be a singular approach, right? A singular infrastructure, but tailored to every use case separately. And I think there's another concept, I'm just learning about it, the digital twin, right? That aspect where you can model digitally using the AI data. So I definitely feel these are things, the cities globally are using, and I'd like, to see Pune and other Indian smart cities use these effectively.
Yeah,
right. So, Shekhar, while I was watching you while you were talking, I saw Neeraj in the wing. He's getting anxious with time. So now he's gone, but I think he'll come in the other wing. But so I'll really keep
I'm purposely looking the other side.
Yes.
That's the way to deal with time and energy.
Right. So on technology front, I'll be quick. So fundamentally, an omnichannel experience is created by an omnichannel infrastructure, and this infrastructure constitutes of cloud-based micro-fulfillment centers. You could have things like the delivery drones or the delivery autonomous technologies, automated sorters, and what have you. I mean, I can go on and on, that's my business, but I think I should stop here. Thank you.
Thanks. Yeah, Reshma. One quick answer, infrastructure. What is it that you would want to propose?
For the technology front. So basically, parking is a big issue and traffic management is a big issue when it comes to infrastructure. So smart monitoring of the traffic in terms of how much time it takes to commute. So if people can move to the metros, etc. In fact, Maha Metro has done a fantastic thing by having a mobile app and a smart card where you can book tickets online and tickets are as low as 10 rupees. And the time saved, I mean, the distances covered are probably less than half. I mean, it could come down to 1/3 as well.
Fantastic.
So traffic monitoring. The other could be energy saving. If you can monitor the energy saving by using solar panels, or even now you have smart street lights in many cities, which is already implemented. So if you have smart street lights that is using renewable energy, and you're actually reducing the load which is coming on our MSAB or whatever, whichever electricity board is there. So I think monitoring of that and reducing the usage of or our dependency on the standard modes of electricity, I think that is there. And one more thing which comes to my mind is smart parking, because I've heard of some IT parks in Bangalore which actually track the movement of the cars coming in and out. And there is an app. So all these people who travel to work, they have hybrid model system, right? So they come couple of times in a week or something, but whether to bring your car or to carpool or to decide to work from home, so that you are actually reducing the load on the
Fantastic.
roads. So that tracking app actually allows you that the parking is full in this particular area. So that's the reason they then take a call whether, or which is the peak hour, which is the non-peak hour. So they know that if I enter my office at this time, this is the non-peak hour when I need to exit, and the traffic on the road is going to be less. So I think if small things like these can be implemented, we will be doing justice to
Absolutely.
and our contribution to
Just to
reduce.
build on what you've said, so Smart Cities mission in Pune had collaborated with Siemens to put certain digital and hardware devices across the city on all the traffic signals to monitor. I am not sure whether that works. Definitely Baner Road doesn't work. Whoever is from Baner would understand this. But they had put a lot of effort to get these systems together. What I also feel, coming to you quickly, what I feel is that there's a lot that has been already happening. It's only that the citizens are not aware. So that aspect also, if the social media could build, because there are amazing dashboards on the mission's website in terms of what work has been done, what has been achieved, what is left to be achieved, etc. It's only that the citizens are unaware. I hope the radio channels and the social media channels talk about this rather than talking about all that they keep talking, especially the radio channels, because it is a channel that is affordable and accessible. Over
And
to
then
you.
that sense of national pride is also about this, the pride in the city. Like how we have Chennai Super
one
Kings
last.
versus Mumbai Indians, there needs to be that smart city IPL.
Ah.
Then, it'll create a competition between the cities, which is going to get smarter. And that, of course, we have to think about policy governance, how to, think. But when it comes to technology, because your question was on technology, think about disease outbreak. Like some area gets dengue, some area gets cholera, some area gets, but a lot of things are controlled now. But it'll be good to know if Mumbai is getting something so that Pune can be, better prepared. If Bangalore is getting something so that Chennai can be better prepared. So that kind of data sharing, maybe through, because data is only good until it is shared. Otherwise, you do analytics. Without analytics, there is no use of data.
Correct.
Right? So all that has to be thought through in terms of how to bring that smartness of the data available to the public, so that they'll be more careful. Okay, now they'll now think of drinking better water, putting the mosquito nets, whatever. Again, it'll reduce the burden in the system for healthcare. There is positives and negatives. Doctors will say, I need more patients. But healthcare systems will say, I need more patients. But we need to think about patient as the most ultimate customer, patient first, and bringing knowledge to them through technology, educating them. At the same time, preventive measures also.
Fantastic. Just to build on what you've said, and then we come to the last question, which is going to be a rapid fire. Only one question, fast, because they've been complaining, saying that you've eaten into the tea time, tea break, and the lunch probably. If you continue like this, we still have tea. I was part of the World Design Organization, and we were working on communication of COVID implementation across the globe, and we were 13 teams participating across geographies, across time zones, only to communicate how to avoid COVID, how to ensure that your neighbor or other person does not get COVID because of your stupidities. So this was a fantastic exercise that we did. where we were spotting all the stupid behaviors we do, and we think that mala kai nahi honar hai, that kind of stuff. And this was amazing challenge. So these kinds of challenges, if we can bring onto the social media platform. There's also the Swachha Sarvekshan, which is happening in Pune, and hence Pune is very clean, not because for the alumni meet. It is getting clean because the Swachha Sarvekshan is happening. I'm also complaining and voicing the citizens' angst through this channel, saying that if Swachha Sarvekshan can happen, smart city Sarvekshan also should happen. And it does happen, but it happens very covertly. It has to happen overtly. Last question, and this is a fun question. Let's keep it fun for the audience. They've heard a lot from us. What is this one outlandish, out of the box, stupid idea that you have for the smart city? And I'm putting stupid purposely because we need ideas, and we cannot say that
you
this is
just
a good or bad
mentioned,
idea.
40% of the population is going to move into cities, right? And today, I think what we all struggle, a common struggle, is the commute time. So I'd like to see our commute times, average speed of 17, 18 kilometers per hour go to 40 kilometers per hour. I think that's how I would.
Lovely. Fantastic. Yeah, Vinit.
So I would say that by additive manufacturing, we have already almost cracked transporting materials from one place to other. We need to figure out how to transport humans from one place to other.
Super.
And something in the very quick future is, I think, the human drones. And it might be happening sooner. And cities like Pune need it.
Lovely. We'll have wars up there. Star Wars.
But lots of space.
Yeah. Three-dimensionality.
Yeah, hi.
Lovely.
I think one area probably in the infrastructure space is, a multifaceted, like a dynamic, changeable space that you have, which probably during the daytime is a shop and maybe converts into a pop-up center for music or for cultural activities or something. So, or use office spaces which are very dynamic in the sense you have collapsible walls, you have robotics, etc., etc. So they, can convert from a meeting room to an office space, etc. So what you're doing here is, utilizing the space more. So just probably.
So transporting people fast using human drones, convertible and redefinable infrastructure is how I would want to build it, so that it doesn't become that this is only a footpath and you can't use it for any other purpose, even if it is empty. That kind of shit. Like the streets.
Marine Drive, we already have the open streets.
So Pune has a couple of places like this in terms of redefinable infrastructure, because we have paucity of infrastructure. Over to you, Dr. Sampath.
So, when we talk about Ram Rajya, right, in Ramayana it talks about everybody's healthy, thing is happy. That is what we really want. Everybody should also get that Sanjaya's vision, Divya Drishti, so that we can see what is coming ahead and we prepare for ourselves. So those two itihasas can tell us, how we should. I know it's maybe it's stupid or non-stupid, but I'm talking about just healthcare, vision on where we should be, as well as protection.
I definitely would want the Sanjay's vision. If I'm traveling to Bangalore from Electronic City to the airport, it takes 4.5, 5 hours to reach there. It is as good as going to Hyderabad, is what I've been told. So I miss my flights twice. So I need this. Also at the coffee board junction.
I live south of Electronic City. I prepare 4 hours before the flight takes off.
Oh my God. Fantastic. There's a very interesting architectural design company which does city development, and they're city planners. They use human metabolism as an infrastructure technique to understand how energy moves through the city, how waste management is being done by a human body, and they're developing cities using human metabolism as a fundamental layer. So that could be my outlandish idea in terms of looking at smart cities. So thank you so much. How resilient the body is, and we've sustained all sorts of things. So thank you so much for the patient audience and a lovely panel here.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Shekhar.
Neeraj, for allowing us.
The first panelist.
Taking 25 minutes extra here. Thank you so much. And I hope we started late. Yes.
We could still take your time. That's fine.
Oh, is it? We thought you were hurrying up. But thank you so much, all of you, and lovely speaking to you over this last 15, 20 days. And we have some questions.
Yeah, one or two quick ones. Not more, because batata vadas and chai is waiting outside. So
Chai is very exciting. Go ahead, please. Okay.
Right. So, yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Right. So I have the question about the sustainability. Like Reshma, you talked about re-energizable things. So when we see the other countries, like when I work with the UAE, they have the 2030 mission for the sustainability, green buildings and other stuff. But when we look at the India, it has the vision of 2047. So we are the people who are building the things for them. I work on AI, blockchain, and all this stuff. So for the UAE, and we are working more about the sustainability, building the future-proof solutions for them. But when we talk about the India, we do have those things, but it's far away, right? So we are the people who are doing the work for them. Then what is the problem when the government is taking into the serious to get into the stuff where we can really build a sustainable future-proof solutions and get the technologies and infrastructures in a
Can I
right
answer
place?
this
Yeah,
quickly
I was going to
before you
Shekhar.
set up the...
So, yeah.
No, not me to answer, but I have one point that I could add to this. 2047 is also too early for us. There's a reason for this, and I'm not being negative here. The point is that the infrastructure or the solutions that India is proposing have to be equitable. It has to reach every person across geographies, across domains. For it to reach in a country diverse and difficult as India is, unlike in UAE, the government style is different, the population is different, diversity is different. India and any other country can't be compared. So that's one point first to start with. I always feel that solutions have to be implemented for the last person. And if that last person has used that system, has benefited from the system, is only when we can say yes. Otherwise, what happens is that the top 10% of the population enjoys all the benefits, and then we say that, oh, the milestone is achieved. No, it hasn't. So hence, I'm very respectable in terms of if they're saying 2047, it is a huge achievement if we will be able to achieve 2047. And we have to be careful. Like I was part of one of these carbon mitigation committee from the US, which talked about mitigating carbon in India. They were not talking about carbon mitigation in the US, which is the largest producer of carbon footprint, whatever. In India, we still require fundamental resources to run this country. And we can't shut down onto our plants and say that, no, it has to be only nuclear plants or renewable energy resources. So we need to be careful in terms of when we are comparing things. In this case, particularly, yes.
Yeah, I completely agree on that. And you made a very valid point in terms of inclusivity and reaching it to the last person, which, and again, going back to the contribution coming from the citizens back to the government policies or whatever they implement. I mean, a small rule like wearing a helmet is not being followed very diligently, then how can you blame the government to not reach those goals? So it has to be, kind of a collaboration where we as citizens also follow rules and implement policies which are being given. I'm not saying it is probably very easy, but when we have it in ourselves and taking from what Dr. Partha said, if we have that patriotic feeling, why not? I mean, if we make it a mission, then 2047, when we complete 100 years of India's independence, we will get there, and it should be a win-win combination, collaboration.
Absolutely.
From private players, from the government bodies, partnerships, citizens' contributions, ideas. We have, during COVID times also, there were war zones and things which were implemented on a very fast scale. So in crisis also we have survived. So it's not that we cannot do it. If we put our heart and mind to it, I'm sure we'll find a way to come out of this.
I
So
think Indore
thank you
and
for your question.
Bhopal, Indore used to be the worst possible city to live ever. in terms of its waste management situations. And
The
what
cleanliness.
Indore has achieved in terms of the government, the system, and people together is fantastic. They've been, I think, the cleanest city for
Yes.
last 7-8 years now. By far, the cleanest city I have ever seen. I've seen Indore before. I've seen Indore after. Bhopal is another case. Chandigarh is born clean, so we can't compare Chandigarh. But if people participate, what has happened unfortunately is that all the citizens of India have outsourced their life to government of India. It cannot happen this way, in India in particular. We need to participate. We need to have debates, we need to have a dialogue, we need to participate physically in terms of doing things. And the whole reason of having this panel was to bring out these voices. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
for
Thank
this.
you.